Hey there, welcome back to My Green Pets. I'm William Green, and today I'm going to be taking you to the Missouri Botanical Gardens, where the Orchid Society of Greater St. Louis is having their annual show and sale. Let's have a look. Let's jump in with my favorite display of the day. This is by Windy Hill Gardens, and actually several of my plants come from Windy Hill. And the owner, Marilyn, she's super nice and she's very helpful if you have questions. Look at this Angraecum sesquipedale. It is so humongous. You can't even believe it. It's like as big as my hand. And all of the flowers in the display were just unbelievable. Look at this Maxillaria picta. I mean, I'm gonna trade in my coconut orchid for this one. Look how beautiful it is. It has a sharp, sweet scent. Super nice. These were really popular at this year's show. Oncidium gold dust. It looks like a twinkle, but look at the beautiful colors it comes in. There were a couple different dendrochilums in this display, and I just love dendrochilums because they've got these long, flowing spikes, and many of them are very fragrant. They have kind of chemically strange fragrances. I got close to this one, this bicalosum, and I didn't really detect anything sweet, but there was some kind of strange fragrance there. But what an interesting plant to have, and look at all the flowers you get. Windy Hill really specializes in slipper orchids and bulbophyllums, so it was no surprise to see this is very popular Phragmipedium because of its bright orangey red colors used in a lot of hybrids. Here's another lovely awarded path. Many of Marilyn's plants are awarded. She's earned dozens of AOS awards. Well, I certainly don't envy the judges. They had a difficult task ahead of them judging these beautiful displays. There were also many plants for sale, so I took a moment to talk to a couple of the vendors. So we're here with Russ Vernon of New Vision Orchids, and Russ is going to tell us a little bit about what orchids he has here today and just why he likes orchids in general.
Well, we have a lot of orchids in the Oncidium group, which are these taller stems. Not many of them open. There's one right there that's just coming over. It's a group that I do hybridizing with, so I make seedlings because to me it's fascinating to see how much they vary between one plant to the next. We also hybridize cattleyas, the corsage orchids, and Phalaenopsis, and a few odds and ends here and there.
Where are you guys located?
We're in east central Indiana, just off of I-69, near the town of Muncie.
Okay. How many plants in total would you say that you probably have in your greenhouses?
Well, if we don't count the little tiny ones in flasks, we have probably 5,000 or 6,000.
Oh my gosh.
So,
do you remember what initially got you interested in orchids?
yes, it was my underhanded uncle. He grew orchids. As a little kid, I grew cacti. He showed up one day with 6 orchid plants, cattleyas, 2 of which were cleverly in bud, but you couldn't see the buds.
Okay.
So I got them to bloom, obviously, and thought I was a genius. And then as I grew them later on, I realized I wasn't quite as smart as I thought I was. But that started when I was 12. So I've been at it a long time.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Russ.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
One orchid that I hope to see one day is the famous ghost orchid, Dendrophyllix lendeni. But this is the cousin of Dendrophyllix lendeni. This is Dendrophyllix funalis. And as you can see, these are leafless orchids, so the blooms come out of a mass of roots. And speaking of orchids I've wanted to see, today I got to see for the first time not 1 but 2 blooming Phragmipedium kovachiis. And as soon as I saw it, I just couldn't believe it. My jaw just kind of dropped. It is beautiful. It is so big and purple, and the pouch is it's got this velvety quality to it. Dark purple in the front, almost white, pure white on the back. What more can I say? It's just a sight to behold. And I was very lucky because this beautiful plant was actually just brought back from the judges table. This won an award of merit today, and we are going to talk to the grower of this plant. This is David Bird of Bird's Botanicals in Kansas City, Missouri, and he's going to give us a little bit of information about the plant and how to grow it. Okay, we're here with David Bird of Bird's Botanicals.
That's correct.
And David's going to show us his award-winning Phragmipedium kovachii,
Very good.
which has just come back from the judges' table.
Yep, and this one would be it, right here.
And the clonal name for this is going to be
This one will be Kulo.
Kulo.
Kulo, which is actually a good friend of mine, and it's his grandson.
Oh, that's wonderful.
He's asked me to name that one for him, but Kulo. So I'll be giving him a call today to tell him that it got awarded.
Oh, okay. I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
And then this is another one that didn't get awarded, but this is another kovachii. And what's more fascinating yet is here's a seed pod.
Okay, here we go.
Here's a seed pod for it. And this happens to be a cross that I made between Phragmipedium kovachii Birdman, which is my FCC clone,
Okay.
and I crossed it with a Fritz Schaumburg.
Oh, so it's the
it's a
kovachii
cross.
besseyi back to kovachii.
That's right. That's
Oh,
correct.
does that cross have a name? Or is that
I don't think so. Not
Okay.
yet. I don't think they've been around long enough to get awarded.
Okay.
Or to bloom. So then the seed pod now will develop in about 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I will pick the pod before it bursts open and disperses all its seeds.
Uh-huh.
I'll send it off to a lab in California, and then they'll have it for 2.5 to 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And then they'll send me little jars full of little baby orchids.
And
baby
this is
kovachiis.
baby Phrag kovachii right here.
Yeah, and this is one of mine. This is Phrag kovachii Birdman FCC,
Okay.
and so this is
Oh, it's by self. Okay.
Yeah,
so
by
you're getting
self.
those FCC genes in there.
yeah, that's what we're shooting for. And then to grow this little guy, I've transplanted into a little pot with fir bark mix, and then on top of that is some what we use is chicken grit or dolomitic lime,
Okay.
and then here's the secret ingredient:
Uh-oh.
live sphagnum moss.
Oh, man. How do you keep it alive?
It sits in water.
It just sits in water.
It sits in pure water, and then it absorbs the water from the bottom and keeps the moss wet at all times.
Oh, okay. So
And
this
now-
plant needs constant moisture.
Constant moisture.
How do you keep it from rotting? How do you avoid rot and fungus and that kind of stuff when you have
Good airflow.
Okay.
Run lots of fans in the area, blowing across the plants, so they all kind of go to the breeze.
Okay.
And usually not too much problem with fungus or disease.
Okay.
And
Great.
the moss is actually sterile media, so the moss will actually inhibit any type of bacteria and fungal growth.
Wow. And how many years is this little guy from blooming?
About 4.
That's not that long, really.
No. So it's got a lot of growing to do, but it's only been out of the bottle since March.
Fantastic.
So it hasn't been out that long. But he's looking small and nice and happy, ready to go.
That's
And then
great.
4 more years we'll have something like
Maybe some more FCC winners.
that. Yeah.
David, thank you so much for your
Yeah,
explanation.
you're welcome. You bet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And of course, after the show and sale of the Greater St. Louis Orchid Society, we've got to go to the Missouri Botanical Gardens Orchid Show. Now, this show is opened from today, February 3rd, until March 25th from 9 to 5 daily. And it is a beautiful show indeed. So let's just sit back, relax, and enjoy some of the scenes from this year's show at the Missouri Botanical Garden. Thanks for coming along with me today. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time right here on My Green Pets. I'm William Green. See ya.